Welcome, welcome, welcome to Geek to Me Radio, the second episode, or the second issue, if you will. Today we are doing a Walking Dead edition of the show. We've got a special guest in the studio, and you will have your chance to win Season 6 on Blu-ray or DVD, so stay tuned for that.
We're talking TV, comics and movies, and video games. And if you don't know Star Trek from Star Wars, we'll try to explain. There are 12 doctors for Hogwarts houses, one ring rules them all. To be the greatest Pokemon master, you must catch them all. You must catch them all. Try to catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
And today on Geek to Me Radio, as I said, the Walking Dead edition, with Fear the Walking Dead returning on August 19th on AMC for the middle of their Season 2. And of course, The Walking Dead Season 6 will be out on Blu-ray and DVD on August 23rd, but you can win it here first. We have the listener lines 855-770-1260. So write that down. We'll give you a chance to call in. Stay tuned. You call in and we want to hear either the most heartbreaking death that The Walking Dead has done in their 6th season so far, or you can also speculate as to who was on the other end of Negan's bat at the end of Season 6. And in studio with us, joining us, is Bill Clevlen from BillOnTheRoad.com. He's a travel writer, and he actually visited the Walking Dead set down there in Georgia. Bill, thanks for coming on air.
Well, it is my pleasure to be here. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I know you brought me in here because I gave you your first start on another radio station.
Exactly right.
And so let's just get to the cake and the presents and things for
After. We can't have food in the studio.
Oh, okay.
After I told you that.
Okay.
Not in the studio. But thank you again. So you
My
actually,
pleasure.
with your on-the-road travels, you actually went and toured the set of The Walking Dead, and it's all right there together. Woodbury, Alexandria. Tell us a little bit about your visit.
Well, I went through, it's in Senoia, Georgia, which is a very, very small town, maybe, 40 minutes outside of Atlanta. And was headed back from Naples, Florida, and needed some, sort of a middle spot, if you will, to stop before heading back to St. Louis. So I thought, I've always heard The Walking Dead is filmed in Atlanta and around there. And I thought, well, I'll go and check it out. So I stop in Senoia, and so it was interesting. You were the one that got me started on Walking Dead.
That's
if
right.
you'll remember,
That's
folks
right.
don't know this, but I said, I'm not watching that stupid show. Why would I want to watch a show about zombies? And for like 5 years, I told you I'm not watching this dumb thing. And so, and one night I started watching it, and I got hooked after about the third episode. Now, I like you,
There's no
I
turning
watch
back.
it every week, yeah. And so, so I went, and my microphone is moving. Hang on a second. We're not having an earthquake, are
Well,
we?
no, I'm
Okay.
using my force
And
powers.
so, so anyway, I went and now the town square. This was Woodbury, right? This
Where the
was,
governor
now it's not
lived, that's
it's
right.
not called Woodbury down in Senoia,
No,
Georgia.
no.
It's just their downtown. But I went and I found it, and sure enough, you walk along the like a little main street. They got lots of really cool shops and little stores, but it's exactly like it was on the television show. It looked
Just without the big gates out front.
Exactly. So, so I thought, well, this is cool, and I went. They have a little gift shop, and you go in, and I didn't buy anything, but they have a little gift shop, and the place was packed. I mean, and not just with Walking Dead fans. It was a busy little community, and it was really neat. And so, so I thought I'd like to find where they have Alexandria, right? So I always use air quotes when I say
Right.
Alexandria, not really Alexandria. And so, so I get my GPS, and I can't really find what it is. And so I see some commotion back behind a set of train tracks from where the sort of this main street begins. And so, let's go see what these people are doing. So I walk over across the train tracks, and sure enough, behind some trees, there it is. There are the gigantic metal walls surrounding an entire subdivision.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And you think, well, this can't be legit. This is weird. And sure enough, I got in the car and I drove around, and around this entire. I mean, it is a big subdivision, and the whole thing is covered by these giant metal walls. And so they have a little security guard gal there.
Her name was Merle, which was the odd thing.
Yeah, the rent-a-cop, and so she was sitting in her car, and so you can't stand on the curb because it's technically property, private property. They're very, very kind of weird, but people were taking pictures in front of the wall, but you can't see inside really the subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just the craziest thing, that you see this gigantic, massive wall all around this community. And I thought maybe one part of the subdivision would be, because on TV folks are, and they the magic of editing
green
and
screens
things.
and things
Exactly,
like that.
but it is a true legit wall all around this subdivision, and I was told people actually live in there. And so there are 2 checkpoints, and so I guess if you live there, you're able to drive through, and there's a security guard. I almost said big security guard. He wasn't that big, and they check you in and check you out and that sort of thing. But the interesting thing to me was that you could be standing at Woodbury, all right, or the place that was Woodbury, that main street, and turn around and see Alexandria. I mean, they're like 50 feet from one another. So they didn't really sprawl out too much.
And it took them a season to get there on the TV
exactly,
show. To make the 15
And
mile.
as you drive around that part of Georgia, you see where they film. Or it doesn't take much imagination to see how they film, because it's very wooded, and you see those dirt roads, and you picture pretty quickly, that they're probably all over the town filming different scenes,
right,
in all sorts of places. But it was cool. It was neat to see, and the people were very friendly, as they tend to be in the South. And so now you mentioned the bat thing.
Oh yeah, Negan's bat called Lucille, the barbed wire wrapped baseball bat.
So do we know for a fact that someone's actually going to die?
Oh yes.
So that's out there. I thought maybe they would be maimed or something.
No. You're caught up, correct?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay. So for those of you who follow Walking Dead, maybe you've never read the comic book on which it's based. The Walking Dead is actually based on a comic book from Image Comics by creator Robert Kirkman. And in the 100th issue, to shake things up, he introduces this character called Negan. And he kills, in the comic books, Glenn. Glenn dies. But the way it showed it in the finale, you don't really, he's doing eeny, meeny, miny, moe with his bat. You never see who gets it, who dies. And the fan outrage at that season finale was off the charts. In fact, Robert Kirkman just had a...
Why were people outraged?
Because so far, none of the deaths have been a cliffhanger in the series. Every single, when Andrea died, it was in season finale of season 3, but we saw her die. Herschel, we've seen him. We've seen every single death so far. It's never been I wonder who died, like a who shot JR thing. So the fan outrage was just huge.
I don't understand why people would be mad. That makes sense to me. Maybe because I'm on the other side. Like I get it. I understand why you would do that.
I can see it.
Keep people tuning in and keep talking about it.
They've not done that so far, and especially they pulled that crap with Glenn in the middle of the season where you thought he died.
Right.
So I am going to be pretty mad if they end up actually killing off Glenn. I think it needs to be Daryl.
No, I want the kid to go. I don't like the kid.
Well, they're not going to get rid of Carl.
Why not?
Well, because he's a kid.
He's maybe he wants to do other things in his career besides being the guy with the patch.
So that's your preference. You want Carl to go.
I want.
There's
I did. Yeah. So.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Clevlen does not like children.
No, that's not true. I just don't like it. I just don't. He's of all of the characters, he's my least favorite. He needs to go.
Right. I mean, they could play it safe and get rid of. I can't think of the character's name, but the one who brought them into the Alexandria safe zone. Season 5, dark hair.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Andrea's not Andrea. Anyway, but I think they should get rid of Daryl.
Now I think that would cause a lot of fan outrage.
But he's not in the comic books. Daryl was created specifically for the TV
you're right,
show.
he hasn't been in the show a lot in the this past season. They've kind of not utilized
him
him
a
lot. Yeah.
So there might be some room to get. I mean, again, it would really shake things up, get people talking. And we don't know how he's going to die because we have no precedent in the comic book. We've seen everybody else. We knew, Andrea. Well, actually, Andrea's I think is still alive, and it was Carol who's dead now in the comic books.
I'd like Carol.
I love Carol. Carol's my favorite character, more so than Daryl. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see who. And if you have a theory about who died at the end of season 6, call in the lines 855-770-1260. If you're following on Twitter, I sent out a blast on that earlier. It's at Geek to Me Radio on Twitter, and you can tweet us there. Or if you just want to let us know what's your most heartbreaking death, was it Herschel? I thought that was pretty sad when the governor got Herschel. Yeah, at the end of there. But let us know, and you can win the complete season 6 on either Blu-ray or DVD.
That's a deal.
I think so.
Can I participate?
No.
I got a phone.
No, you can't. No in-studio calls. I'm sorry to say. But before we go to break, I would like to send you up to Hendel's, because nothing, they don't have brains on the menu like Walking Dead, but a lot of good food.
I've been to Hendel's.
Yeah, you have.
It's in Florissant, right?
It's in beautiful downtown Florissant in the French section, nestled in there. They got great patio dining. The weather's getting nicer. It'll be a lot of opportunities for outside dining. A fantastic menu. And, you don't want to go to one of these cookie cutter TGI Fridays or someplace like that. You want to go someplace that has a unique menu, fantastic atmosphere. They just added a brand new little piano bar on the end. It's really nice setting and ambiance. Nate and Christina, who run the place, are fantastic people. They hired me at one point to wait tables, so they're generous.
Well, I wouldn't have mentioned that. Can we edit that out? Are we
back,
on delay on this station?
We'll hit the dump button. There we go. No one heard that now. But if you want to head up there to Hendel's, you can go to hendelsrestaurant.com at 599 St. Denis Street in Florissant. If you haven't had dinner plans yet, head on up there. Give them a call for reservations, 314-837-2304. Thank you very much. We'll be right back. We are back for Geek to Me Radio, right here on 1260 AM The Answer, where it's all Geek to Me. I'm joined in studio by Bill Clevlen from BillOnTheRoad.com. We just got done talking about his visit to Georgia and the Walking Dead sets of Alexandria and Woodbury. And you have a chance this hour to call in on the listener lines 855-770-1260. Joey V will pick you up on the phone, give him your name and your phone number so we can get back a hold of you. And if you are the winner, at the end of the show, you will get Season 6 of The Walking Dead on Blu-ray or DVD, depending on your preference. And all you have to do is let us know the most heartbreaking death so far in the 6 seasons of The Walking Dead, or your theory on who died at the end of season 6.
It's a very morbid show. It's just a show. Who died? What's your favorite death? I don't know if I should have come in for this.
It's so much fun.
Having a nice, happy Saturday.
But look, we've got streamers. See? Kind of a little bunting I put up there and the balloons. I thought that was a nice touch. Kind of offsets the gloom. Right. We have an article that I read that states they actually filmed 4 or 5 different death scenes, because AMC's been working so hard to keep a lid on who died. So they actually filmed 4 or 5 different death scenes so that no one's going to know for sure except the actors. And even the actors have been very tight-lipped about it. There's a fan theory that they actually might get rid of 2 people. They might break from the comic books and kill possibly the character of Glenn, or they might kill the character of Daryl, but they also might kill Abraham.
I like him too.
Because Abraham has not been seen much. People, they take set photos and the paparazzi are out there trying to get everything they can. Sure. And they said Abraham hasn't been seen too much in the what they've been able to glean. And if you saw the season finale, when he's going eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Abraham's looking him right in the eye. Everyone else is kind of looking away, looking down, kind of scared. Abraham's glaring him right in the eye. So if I was Negan, I'd take that guy out, the guy who doesn't seem afraid of me. He'd be the guy I'd get rid of.
So this will really change, I guess, that whole show, because up till now, right? They've kind of been self-sufficient and on their own and never really prisoners of anybody. And it seems like that will change the entire... I don't know if I'm going to like it quite as much.
From the previews I saw, they released the previews at San Diego Comic-Con, a little teaser for season 7. And it looked really good. We're introducing Ezekiel and his tiger from the Saviors, which is another group that we'll now be seeing. He's got this huge tiger as his guard.
See, I don't know. Is it going to...
It's from the comic books, man.
Yeah, I don't. But see, some of these shows they veer off, and not that. I mean, right now this is somewhat legitimate, or seems like it could be in real life. Yeah, you have a big catastrophe, you have all these people sort of fighting for their lives, and so on and so forth. But a tiger, really? Come on, what is this?
Well,
what are you, circus? I mean, I guess tigers are available now.
Those zoos weren't going to maintain themselves.
Yeah,
I can tell you, if there was a zombie apocalypse, I'd be heading down to the St. Louis Zoo and I'd go into that penguin house.
No, you don't want a penguin. Penguins are mean.
No, well, that's the point. I'd keep away all the people trying to get me.
Yeah.
Have a bunch of penguins walking around.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Again, those numbers to call 855-770-1260 and just give Joey V your information. We'll put you on air. You can just let us know what you think is going to happen in Season 7 and your chance to win Season 6, The Walking Dead on Blu-ray or DVD. We're going to play a little game now, Bill.
You and I are playing a game?
We're going to play a game right now.
Oh, good.
And it's something we did once before called Who Knew or Who Cares?
Wow, this is like... Do people know? I guess they don't know. If you never listened to it, we were on another radio station. And by the way, it's nice to be sitting in a place that actually has new equipment and phones that didn't come out in 1965. But it was hard to put those rotary phones on the air.
It was very tough.
Difficult. And so, so we did a trivia show for a long time over at another radio station, and our roles, I guess, were a little reversed. You were, my producer, and so you worked. I'm proud of you for building up your audience and everything online, and you got business cards now and everything. And
I'm all
that's
official.
when you know you're official. You have a business card. But Who Knew or Who Cares was one of our favorite segments, and I would say I'd have a list of basically little fun facts, and then we'd go around the room and say who knew or who cares. And so we're going to do that.
We're going to do that right now. Joey, do you want to play? All you have to do is say who knew or who cares when I give the fact.
Who cares about this game?
Yeah.
Well, see, it was something like that. See, he's going to be perfect for this.
Oh, wait, I won already. All right, cool.
Well, no, it's not like a winner. It's
Trump
just we kind of
card.
vote.
I
We
won.
vote.
Yeah. We're all working on a weekend. None of us are winners.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
No, you're all
So-
great. I love the show.
Here's your first fact, and you're just going to say who knew or who cares. All the principal actors on The Walking Dead have a last supper. They get to eat whatever they want. It's catered in on the day they film their death scene.
I'll say who knew.
Your vote?
Who knew?
Who knew? Okay, two who knew.
That's real?
Yeah, that's real.
When they know they're going to die.
The day they film their death scene, they get a last supper. They bring in whatever they want to eat.
I think
catering
that's
for this.
great.
That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was 3 who knews. We all voted who knew.
How about that?
The next one. From season to season, the opening titles that they show decompose more and more. So if you look at the season 1 titles, The Walking Dead, when it flashes and the music is played in a different key, a slightly different, and the titles slowly decompose and they're more eaten away each season. I'll say who cares.
I will also say who cares.
Who cares? Just busy work for some graphic design
That's
guy.
true. Yeah, well, it's keeping him a job though, so that's good. But yes, those were unanimous 2 for 2. The next fact: actors who play the walkers actually have to go through walker school to learn how to walk more like zombies.
I would have to go to Walker School. I would not do that.
They have to do
I'll
things
say
like
who knew.
Who knew?
Who knew? I'm gonna say who cares.
Because
Little
you
dissent.
know already?
Well, no, just because I think who wants to go to walk? I mean, I'm not sure how much
Well,
the
I'm sure
extras
they
get
pay
paid.
you.
Well, I'm sure they get paid, but I'm just kind
Pay
of.
me to walk? Why not?
I know how to walk like a zombie if I had to. Come on,
They
put
go
my
to
iPhone in front of me.
The old folks' home. They bring them out, teach them how to use a
Exactly.
walker. Yeah.
Just like that.
Get involved in the community. Yeah.
During lunch breaks, the zombie cast eat together and the human cast eat together. So they are separate.
But equal.
That's right.
Well, I mean, if you're one of the humans, you don't want to be getting all that the blood and guts and all that stuff on you.
Little latex face.
And could you really eat if you were looking at these people?
I don't think it'd bother me.
I couldn't eat.
So is that a who knew from you or who cares?
I'll say who knew. Why
Who
not?
knew?
I will say.
I'm getting the impression that Joey behind me is copying all my answers.
Well, you can't see him, so maybe you
I
could be.
can't see him. It's very distracting. I just hear this voice.
Let's see another fact here. We've got during an interview, Robert Kirkman, who is the creator of The Walking Dead, said that
This is
Norman Reedus,
the comic book or
the
the
comic book,
TV
and he's
show?
also an executive producer on the
Okay,
show, but he
okay.
created the comic.
Who knew?
So, well, I'm not. That's not.
Okay.
There's a little bit more. Robert Kirkman said that Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl, originally auditioned for the part of Merle,
Oh.
who was his brother. He was rejected for the part, but the audition so intrigued the showrunners, they created the character of Daryl specifically for the show. I'll say who knew.
Who knew?
I'm gonna say who cares.
And that's how you play
Wow,
Who Knew or
that
Who
was
Cares.
nice. Very good.
Geek to Me edition.
Now I copyrighted that. Am I getting some coin out of
Yeah,
this
you'll
segment?
you'll get the balloons and the
Okay.
cake as we leave.
All right,
That's fine.
looking forward to that.
We are going to go to another break. We'll be back with more of Geek to Me Radio, the Walking Dead edition, right after this with our friend and guest Bill Clevlen. Stay tuned. We are back on this all Walking Dead edition of Geek to Me Radio. My friend Bill Clevlen is in the studio right now.
Hello,
He's
everybody.
doing a live Facebook from his phone.
Yeah, this is exciting. I've never. Well, I think I have. I've tried a couple of times. Nobody likes to watch me.
I've never had anyone do it to me before, so that'll be
Really?
a
You're
unique
married?
experience.
You never had anybody do it to you?
Well, yeah.
It's Facebook Live. It's a you can stream video, and so folks all around the country are now watching you. You could have gotten a little more dressed up, but that's okay.
That's my
Um,
best X-Wing fighter shirt I have.
so
Come
yeah,
on.
so folks on Facebook across the country are watching you do your. So no pressure, but
So
carry on.
If you're watching on Facebook right now and you've seen this, the number to call 855-770-1260.
Yeah.
1260. Call in. Give us either your most heartbreaking Walking Dead death or your theory on who died at the end of season 6, going into 7. And you'll be entered for a chance to win The Walking Dead season 6 on Blu-ray or DVD. I do want to say we had a bit of sad news this morning to start the day. Kenny Baker has passed away. Kenny Baker, I don't know if you can see him on my laptop there. Kenny Baker, most famously known.
Baker, I just met her.
Thank you for that. Kenny Baker, most famously known for playing R2-D2 in all 6 of the Star Wars movies. He wasn't in episode 7. 83 years old. He passed away at his home in England. And
He played R2D. So which one was that?
R2-D2 is the little blue and white one.
So he got in. He got in there.
Yeah, there's actually pictures. You can go in there.
Seriously?
Yeah.
There was somebody inside
He's
that little
3'8".
thing? No.
He's 3'8".
Really?
Yes. He played some of his other IMDb credits here. He also played in a couple other.
I thought that was just a remote
They had
control
some of those
thing.
too. No, he was also in the cult classic Willow. He played one of the Llewellyn band members, uncredited in that. He also played in Labyrinth, which just celebrated, I think it's 30th anniversary this year, I believe, for Labyrinth? I'm almost positive that was it. Came out in 86, I believe, so that would be 30 years. He was in Labyrinth as one of the Goblin Corps, and he was, like I said, most famous, of course, for playing R2-D2.
So
Kenny
is
Baker was
there
83.
Okay. So there's obviously somebody inside the what's the other one?
C-3PO.
I'm sorry.
You are-
I don't know all this
Oh
stuff.
my gosh.
C-3PO. There's
Yeah,
somebody inside that one. That
that's
I can
played by
figure.
actor
But I
Anthony
had no
Daniels.
idea that somebody was actually inside the little guy. That's like Alf. Remember Alf? They had
Exactly,
somebody in there,
exactly like
too.
Alf.
I didn't know that.
If you Google Kenny Baker R2-D2, you'll see some of the pictures. If you go to Google, don't go to Google right now if you're on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
If you're not on Facebook Live, you can go to Google and Google Kenny Baker R2-D2, and they've got these black and white set photos of him on the set of the Millennium Falcon, his little head peeking out of the bottom of the R2-D2 get-up.
Huh. I had no idea. That should have been on your Who Knew or Who Cares. Hang
Yeah.
on, let me turn the camera around for folks watching
There you
on
go.
Facebook. Yeah, there you go.
There's Joey in the background. So.
Mm-hmm.
And this segment of Geek to Me Radio is brought to you by The Fantasy Shop, the official comic book store of Geek to Me Radio. As a kid, have people spend the night on Saturday mornings. And we'd wake up and we'd beg Mom to drive us to the Fantasy Shop. It was over there right on the end of North Main Street when that bridge used to go across over there. And you'd look down. That's where the original Fantasy Shop was. They opened their doors in 1981. I wasn't going there when they originally opened, but I do remember vividly going into the store on Saturday morning. Me and my friends, my mom would drop us off. We'd go in there, just go through the racks and racks of comic books they had. And the owner, David Wallace, his voice would boom out, "Can I help anybody with anything?" And I remember it so vividly. Just a great guy, and he must be doing something right because it's rare for any business in this economy to be in business since 1981.
Yeah.
We're talking 35 years. It's a comic book store. that's been in business that long, and it's thrived. They have 4 locations around the St. Louis area. The main one is in St. Charles. They moved from North Main Street, 2125 Zumbell Road. They have a South County location, which is on Baptist Church Road. In Florissant on North Lindbergh. You can pop in there before you go up to Hendel's. And, of course, in Maplewood at 7238 Manchester Road. And, of course, you can go to FantasyShopOnline.com. Fantasy Shop, the official comic book store of Geek to Me Radio. It's just a comic book buying experience. It's a lot of fun. The stores are brightly lit. They've got games. Oh, if you're into gaming, whatever it might be, they've got a bunch of that as well. So it's not just comic books. Check them out. FantasyShopOnline.com. And of course, all the sponsors are on my website. If you go to geektomeradio.com, the sponsors are up there in the upper left-hand corner, and we're very, very pleased to have the Fantasy Shop as the official comic book store and sponsor of Geek to Me Radio. We are going to come back for our next segment. We'll do a little more The Walking Dead with Bill Clevlen from BillOnTheRoad.com.
That's me.
That's right. We'll have all that and more, and Joey V will weigh in again, too. We'll have all that if you stay tuned right here on 1260 AM, The Answer, where it's all Geek to Me. And we're back. Your control knob right down there. It was too loud for him. You had to dial it back. We are periscoping this right now. Periscope at geektomeradio.com. If you want to check that out, that's the website. And obviously, just if you go to Periscope, it's at Geek to Me Radio. Hello. This is our first ever Periscope broadcast, and we're doing a Walking Dead edition.
Periscope?
Periscope.
Periscope, okay.
You say potato, I say vodka.
Isn't it amazing that now, granted, we're on the radio, but isn't it amazing that you can be connected across the world?
It is. It's crazy
anymore. I mean, I know this technology's been around for a while now, but every time something like this goes, I in the back of my mind, I can't believe that with one push of the button, somebody can see you anywhere in the world.
We are reaching literally dozens of people right now at this very moment.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We haven't quite worked our way out of the zip code yet, but eventually. But you can. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So we are talking all things Walking Dead. We just were talking about the death of Kenny Baker, who passed away at the age of 83.
It was not on The Walking Dead.
No, but that was we had to make a tribute because he just passed away today. Kenny Baker died at the age of 83. Everything else, it's all The Walking Dead. If you would like to participate, you can call in the studio lines, which are right there, 855-770-1260 if you would like to call in.
So I think your problem is this is like the all-death show. People don't want to hear death on a Saturday.
Brought to you by Cutest Funeral Home.
There you go.
But no, it's not really. I was kidding. But yeah,
R2D2 guy died, and
it's a somber edition.
Death on The Walking Dead.
You know, you can't have it can't be all fun and barbecues.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
So, as my wife likes to say. But we are talking Walking Dead. Your chance to win The Walking Dead Season 6 on Blu-ray or DVD. Doesn't matter where you are. If you want to call in, that's a toll-free number. Again, 855-770-1260. Call in. Geek to Me Radio. We are talking The Walking Dead. Bill, who is a travel writer, BillOnTheRoad.com. He was recounting his experiences in Senoia.
It is Senoia, Georgia. Senoia.
That is correct.
And they film a lot of stuff there. Mm-hmm. And in fact, you walk through their main street, which was the Woodbury for the show. You walk down through the main street, and you'll see on the ground they actually have like placards that will kind of pay tribute to the different shows that they have filmed there. And now, of course, off the top of my head, I can't remember what any of those shows were.
That's fantastic.
I want to say one of them was like Driving Miss Daisy. I could be wrong about that. I could be totally wrong about that. But a lot of shows, a lot of movies and films. And this was a little blurry to me. A couple people tried to explain it, but I guess if you live in this community, if you live in Senoia, you have to basically sign off that you are okay with them filming. So, for example, the people that live in that subdivision I mentioned earlier, surrounded by, they really don't have I don't think, a say as to
They probably get well compensated for their trouble, I would think.
I don't know. I mean, I couldn't tell you. But they really didn't have a veto, more or less, to say, yeah, no, you can't put up a giant wall around our subdivision.
In the whole town of Georgia, nobody named Vito lives there? Are you kidding me?
Nobody names Vito. It's not an Italian town, yeah. Those are all
must be an
in
Irish
Atlanta.
group who lives in there.
Yeah.
Who knew? Yeah. But I'm going to turn the Periscope off. So if you did watch, thank you very much. Tune in at geektomeradio.com on Twitter.
This is the only radio station I've been in that has a Periscope. This is really interesting.
Well, we're underwater right now. We're below sea level. I'm not sure if you knew that or not. But the Walking Dead is going to be coming back on October 15th, I believe, is the return date for season 7 to start. We talked about how Robert Kirkman and Scott Gimple and all the people and the showrunners and the producers clamped down. Not much has been said. I've looked for spoilers on the internet. And
now here's somebody like me, I'm sure, is listening now and goes, what the heck is a showrunner? What does a showrunner do?
That's the person who kind of oversees the continuity on the show. They make sure that everything.
So this is not somebody that
season.
just is going to get coffee for people.
No. That's the gopher.
Okay. So a showrunner does what?
Showrunner maintains continuity. He makes sure that, okay, this happened in last season, so we have to make sure that we keep that, and they kind of oversee the overall. They've got writers on the show. The showrunner kind of is above the writers, make sure they're all getting everything straight, that the storylines cross where they're supposed to. Obviously, we probably have one writer might write for Rick and Michonne, which, by the way, Rick and Michonne last season. How about that?
But that's because. But you're saying that there's a showrunner because there are multiple storylines that are going through.
And he kind of makes sure everything follows through. He's the overall, the manager, and then he
kind of
he's got
guides
the
writers.
Exactly, to make sure everyone's on the same page. So when they come to the finale, all the storylines intersect. Like what was it, the end of season 5 when they all got scattered after the prison?
Oh yeah.
I guess that was season 4. They all got scattered and they had the different storylines. That's another fun fact about The Walking Dead. There has not been one single actor who has appeared in every episode. Because they always have, especially at the end of season 4, we went some time without seeing Rick and Michonne and Carl, who'd broken off. We had that episode with Carol and Tyrese with the 2 girls when the girl killed her sister and Carol had to shoot her. Look at the flowers, that episode.
I think my favorite, at least for a finale, it was when they were in that train car.
Oh, yeah.
There was something that was...
At Terminus, yeah. That was the end of season
crazy.
4. That was the finale, because then they took him out and they were going to kill him.
Right.
And they had to escape Carol to save the day.
I almost went there when I was in Atlanta.
In a train car?
In a train car. To the Terminus, to where Terminus was.
BillOnTheTracks.com.
Yeah. BillOnTheTrain.com. And so, yeah, but I did. But there's a bunch of sites you can go to. They actually have... This is the entrepreneurial spirit of America. They have a couple of folks who do Walking Dead tours in Atlanta. And they meet you somewhere, they pick you up on a bus or a shuttle and then they take you for 3 or 4 hours and you just go all over and and a couple of these folks have worked in as extras on the show, so they know all the ins and outs of where things are and where they were filmed. And so yeah, you go and you check out where all these famous or iconic scenes were filmed, and I think I mentioned the Terminus, and of course they go to Senoia. In fact, when I was leaving, I saw one of the tour group. They were walking. There was like about 15 or 20 people walking in a group. So that was one of their stops. But that's kind of a cool thing if you're going through Atlanta. You want to do if you're a fan.
We've got about a minute left. I know my friend BK, who's from BK on the Air down there in Cartersville, which is just outside of Atlanta. He's constantly telling me about all the movies and TV shows that they're filming down there. Atlanta is just booming. They're filming now.
Georgia in particular.
Yeah.
Georgia offers a lot of tax credits for films, and they get a lot of people to film there. Absolutely.
They're currently filming the new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Homecoming, with Tom Holland as the new Marvel's Spider-Man. Currently being filmed down there. They just put out a casting call for extras. They were asking for high school-looking students, so I don't think I make the cut.
Nope. Sorry.
That's all right.
Nothing to see here. Keep on moving.
So we're going to come back in our final segment and wrap it all up. We're here with Bill Clevlen from BillOnTheRoad.com. I'm James Enstall. Thank you for sticking with us so far.
You're welcome.
One more second. I appreciate it. We'll be back for our final segment on Geek to Me Radio right here on 1260 AM, The Answer. We are back for the final segment of Geek to Me Radio here on 1260 AM The Answer. And speaking of filming, we were talking about Atlanta. They filmed Guardians of the Galaxy, the sequel down there in Cartersville and Atlanta. Cartersville stood in for St. Charles, Missouri. Now, what's going on with that?
They filmed there instead of St. Charles?
Yeah, it's supposed to be St. Charles. They filmed at Cartersville, which I don't understand. St. Charles
Well,
is
St. Charles
fantastic.
must not have been offering a nice enough tax credit.
Well,
I
it's probably
guess.
the city of St. Louis. I don't know. But anyway, if you would like to go to St. Charles, that's what you should do. You can plan your trip, historicstcharles.com. It's like going back in time. You don't even need a TARDIS or a souped-up DeLorean. You just go down to South Main Street. They've got tons of shops, just shops you won't find anywhere else.
I just wrote an article about St. Charles for Missouri Meetings and Events. There
Really?
are people from all over the country that come to St. Charles to hold conferences and meetings and things like that. And what they will tell me, or what they told me when I interviewed people, is that they will come there, they'll go for their conference, they all want to come back again a second time, not for work but for pleasure with their family, because they have a good time and they see all the stuff that's available, restaurants and cool
Unique
shops and things.
Yeah. It's a unique dining experiences, and it's beautiful. It's like I said, you just step back in time. All the cobblestone streets and the old. I think they have
They're
one.
brick stones. Let's be honest. We have to be. They're not cobblestones.
You say
they're,
potato,
They're,
I say
they're brick.
vodka.
They're brick. They're not cobblestones.
All right,
they're
all
brick.
right. Bricks.
They're brick
Anyway,
stones,
historically accurate buildings and everything like that. It's just beautiful down there. You can plan your trip at historicstcharles.com. Very proud to have them as a sponsor of Geek to Me Radio. And USA Today just had an article ranking them in the top 10 things to do in St. Louis other than the Arch.
yes. Oh.
So USA Today, it's a really nice exposure and a very nice article about historic St. Charles and the downtown St. Charles area. So make sure you plan your trip. Very glad to have them on as show sponsors. So The Walking Dead, a reminder, Fear the Walking Dead, which is the spin-off / prequel, comes back for the second half of season 2 on August 19th. And that's on AMC. And you said you're not a fan, haven't watched it.
I honestly, I just have heard from a few people that they didn't like it, but I haven't given it a chance myself.
It's really good. It kind of starts out, basically the show starts right around it happens in LA. So
It was
it's in
my
like an urban
idea. I
area.
know that the
Yes,
show was
you did
my
say
idea.
that. I remember that.
Because I kept on and on and on about why doesn't anybody talk about why all this stuff happened to begin with? And you said, oh, that's not in the comic book. Nobody cares.
Except you called it Zombies on a Boat, which doesn't have the same ring as Fear the Walking Dead. So that's why they didn't run with that.
Well, yeah, you got me there.
But that is coming back on August 19th. We'll find out what happened to the group now that they've kind of split off. A lot of interesting characters. Basically, if you haven't seen the show, it starts right about the time in LA that Rick Grimes gets shot in that first episode. And then we see basically the span of time that's happened from the time Rick gets shot to when he wakes up from his coma, which is on the first episode of season 1 of The Walking Dead. This all happens on Fear the Walking Dead. It takes place in LA in a big urban area. Then they have to hop in a boat, and they're trying to get from LA down to Mexico, and there's pirates out there. People are trying to take over the boat. Very exciting show. It's a nice change of pace and not just a kind of, it's like The Walking Dead except this, like some spin-offs are. So that'll be exciting to check out. And you can also get The Walking Dead Season 6 on Blu-ray and DVD starting August 23rd. We have about a minute or so left. I would like to thank Bill Clevlen for being my guest. BillOnTheRoad.com. Appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure. Glad to see you're doing what you enjoy.
I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy it, feel free to send me an email. Check us out, geektomeradio.com. Tune in next week.